Hello and welcome to Quarterlight, your car brochure channel. Today we'll be looking at the Hillman Imp. Welcome back to Quarterlight. If you're new to the channel, we're a brochure channel, so we're looking at different brochures 3 times a week. So if you're interested in that, have a listen, have a watch, and consider subscribing. It certainly helps the channel. But anyway, today's episode, the Hillman Imp. First introduced in 1963, it ran all the way till 1976. The Imp was really a competitor for the BMC Mini at the time, and the difference of course being this is a rear-engined, rear-wheel drive car, but it still had quite a few innovations for the time. We're going to be looking at a few brochures today, so let's get right on with it. So there we go, this first brochure, like I say, we're going to look at a few of them today. This first brochure, Meet the New Hillman Imp. So it's introduced in the car, so the first brochure, 1965 when it was introduced, and it's saying an inspiration in light car design. And you can also see at the bottom, a Roots product. You know, it was made by the Roots group from 63 to 67, but it then was taken over by Chrysler Europe from 67 to the end of production in 76. And looking at a few different brochures, you can like see that change. Overall, an attractive looking brochure, a typical 60s brochure featuring the family all looking down on this rather lovely looking red Hillman Imp with white wall tyres. I always quite like the design of the Imp, I must admit. I think it's an attractive looking car, and it was something different, which I also like. Cars that are a little bit different. Of course, rear-engined, rear-wheel drive, kind of like changed the layout slightly. Kind of an alternative to BMC's Mini, like I said. There's also a dealer stamp on here, so we'll have a quick zoom in on that. So there is that dealer stamp, Robinson's in Harrogate. I wonder where that garage used to be. Is it a new dealership? Is it something still there? Is it completely different? Anyone know? Anyone lives in Harrogate? Love to know that. So there we go. Now we've looked at that stamp. Let's talk about the Imp a little bit further. Like I say, it was a bit different, rear engine, etc. But it was also the first British mass-produced car with the engine block and cylinder head in cast aluminium. So it was a little bit different in many ways. Quite an innovation in many ways, you should say. But anyway, let's turn the page over and see what we can see. It's a typical 60s brochure, or certainly a typical British brochure in that it folds in many different ways. But we have a lovely look at this very early Hillman Imp, white with this red interior. I think it's just an attractive looking car. Of course, no grille, rear engine. This is going to be your luggage compartment. And then over the side there, we get some text, which we'll have a look at now. So the text is saying only Hillman knowledge, experience and engineering could have produced the Imp. Years were spent in designing, testing and perfecting this exciting new car. A huge, completely modern production plant was built in Linwood, Scotland. Hillman quality standards were imposed and Hillman craftsmanship employed. The outcome is the finest light car ever made. Practical, economical, elegant, comfortable. The biggest value in family motoring, saloon or deluxe saloon. So it says now you get full-size space and comfort with small car economy and top performance in a quality-built light car that is the elegance and good looks of a family-size saloon. That's the achievement of the new Hillman Imp. The remarkable compact car measures only 139 inches in length. It is powered by a brilliant lightweight aluminium die-cast engine, rear-mounted and embodied the transmission in one single unit, and specially developed for light car high performance. Has a top speed of 75 miles per hour with amazing fuel economy, even at high cruising speeds. Imp has all the advantages of powerful rear traction, ideal power to weight ratio, and a host of advanced new features. Powered from the rear by a brilliant new lightweight aluminium die-cast engine. Kind of like repeating that, but like I say, it was something a bit different at the time. And like I say, it folds a little bit different, like a lot of these 60s brochures did. It opens more in like a poster style, where we can look at various different images. A very strange lady dressed up, and entirely new in concept and design, the new Hillman Imp, the world's most advanced light car. Beautiful red interior, and you can see these earlier gauges with this sort of like a long, very 60s S gauge. We've got folding rear bench seat, which was, I won't say it wasn't heard of, but certainly something a little bit different. And you know, folding the seat, you know, you had a hatch here so you could load your luggage straight in there if there's only two of you. Difficult brochure to get it all in because it opens as this huge poster, but a little bit of look inside, you can see how that engine layout was, the engine itself, and the suspension. All a very clever little car, I think. And of course, like I say, you've got these luggage space at the back there, even with the seats up, and of course more luggage space in the front. I do overall like this little car, and I can certainly see why it sold so well when it was first introduced. I have to point this out, of course, a quarter light. But like I say, it sold really, really well when it was first introduced. Unfortunately, it very, very quickly got a reputation of unreliability, so the sales soon dropped off, and of course the BMC Mini ran away. It was a sales success. So then it says the Imp comes complete with these advanced features, gives us a list of features. Let's see what they are. I'm not going to read it all, but it says good looks, generous space, estate car convenience, superb handling, exceptional visibility, easy entry, ease of service, rear mounted engine, big performance, independent four-wheel suspension, all-wheel synchromesh gearbox, simplicity of operation, strength and safety. And as always, I'll put that there for you just in case you want to pause the video and have a look at it. It also says there is a deluxe model. So the deluxe model gives you built-in ventilation, swiveling front quarter lights, 4 large storage pockets, twin sun visor, windscreen washers, carpeting throughout within there as well. And this is a little bit of an image of that deluxe version in this sort of light blue colour, like I say. So you can see this nice little hatch that you could open, like I say, combined with that folding seat could make quite a usable amount of space for a tiny car. And then at the back you can see how it's advertised: the Hillman Motor Car Company Limited, route service. Like I say, this is a very early one, and we can see how that changes on the later brochures. So what happened next for the Hillman Imp? Well, 65 came along, they introduced the Mark II. The Mark II is also when the Super Imp arrived. So this is a 1965 brochure. I say brochure very loosely, as it's really just a 2-sheet thing, but it gives us a nice look at what the Super Imp had to offer. So we'll zoom in on this. So yeah, the Super Imp, you can identify a Super Imp. They have these like double lines with a black, and it didn't matter which colour you had, it always had black in between them, 2 chrome line stripes. We had this big full cover wheel cap, but more interestingly, you got this little bit of a fake grille. Remember, the Imp is a rear engine car, but they've still decided to put a little bit of a fake grille at the front there. But you know, It's an easy way to identify a Super Imp. And we can say this particular leaflet is from the first Super Imps 65, because it's saying the new Hillman Super Imp. And of course it's saying the biggest value in luxury light cars, this new Hillman Imp with extra comfort, elegance and amenities, a luxury version with all the proved Imp features. Unfortunately by this stage it was proven to be a bit of an unreliable car, but the Mark II came along. One of the innovations of the Mark I, which I forgot to mention, it had an automatic choke. Decided that was a bit unreliable. They kind of like ditched that to make it a more reliable car all around. It also interestingly mentions winner of international rallies. It was indeed a good rally car. I seem to remember it was it the Tulip Rally that it won, among other things. But you know, it was quite a car you could actually see on rallies, and I think it was quite an interesting car overall. The back page just giving a little bit of image of people looking within it. The Mark II changed some of the features. It also mentions on here somebody writing the price down at the time, so it would have been £608. Big features of the Hillman Super Imp, only on the Super Imp. So we've got exclusive styling, distinctive appearance with decorative chrome grille, superior finish and amenities, interior trim to glass level with garnish rails, contoured rear seating with padded armrests on rear side pockets, interior courtesy light with separate switch, double line chrome mouldings on side with black centre finish, protective chrome stripes, safeguard lid of engine compartment with loading through back light, additional soundproofing, body under ceiling wheel trims, twin horns, etc. It gives you some of the features. Continuation, I'm not going to read all that, but certainly you can pause the screen if you do want to look at all that. Interestingly, it also shows the colour schemes, various different colour schemes, and of course you can read some of that if you wish, but we must move on. Let's bring out another brochure. The 1970s, the Imp is still here, now weirdly referred to as the Mark III. I always think the Imp was kind of like a slow improvement as it went on, but still they like to call this the Mark III, although I don't think it was ever officially known as the Mark III. It was more when Chrysler Europe took over the Roots Group in around about 67, and now this is built by the Chrysler of Europe, so that was more of a change than referring it to the Mark III, but nevertheless that's what people call it, so we'll carry on calling it that. 1970s, still referring to the Roots, even though this is Chrysler Europe now. The price now £570, still a very good value car. Dealer stamp up the top there from Pontefract. So that's all interesting and good stuff. Quite a plain brochure this one, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this one, but at the bottom there it's still showing Hillman Roots, even though it's now been taken over. This is a similar one. This is from 69, I do believe, a bit more of a colourful one. Shows a bit of an idea of some of the colours on there on the Imp, and now we've got it showing also 69, there you go, 1969. Various models it's showing in this one. This is a particularly interesting one, the Hillman Californian. Very interesting sloping back on that particular model. Says this is the debonair Imp. The Californian boasts a coupe look that puts it almost into the grand touring class. With one difference, Imp Economy features longer than life at 45 miles per gallon, depending on how you drive, of course. The galaxy of exclusive Californian features make this a great Imp greater still. We've got the Super Imp, and we've got the Imp Deluxe. So that's certainly an interesting brochure as well. But again, and this is from the same dealer stamp in Pontefract, we're still showing Hillman Roots, aren't we? And yes, the observant among us will say, yeah, even though it's still saying Hillman, it's still using the Roots name. The Chrysler little logo has arrived on those two. And then finally we'll look at this other Hillman Imp brochure from the 70s. Again, nice little image of that opening. So it's the same idea in all that time, even though they're referring this to as the Mark III now. Still showing it as a big value car. The price was the key throughout the Imp life. Showing a couple of different models now. The Deluxe, if we look at the Deluxe, and the Super. Super's lost its fake grille in favour of this like long, shiny coloured strip instead on the Super. But more importantly, why I want to show you this particular brochure, if you notice, and I will zoom in for this of course, and yeah, we now can see the full evolution of this, I guess. Hillman name is still yes, we got the Chrysler badge as we did on them 69 and 70 versions, but we've now got Chrysler United Kingdom written. No sign of Roots now while we're here. So a 4-cylinder overhead cam. This particular car, if we have a look, does it even tell us the engine size on there? But we do know it's an 875cc engine, of course at the rear. Some little bits of fact, of course, just as the camera goes out of focus typically, but some of the facts and figures. So we've got 4 forward gears on this and a reverse, all synchromesh on all forward gears, and of course that aluminium alloy die-cast gearbox casing. Rear suspension, brakes, steering wheels, tyres 550 on 12-inch wheels, petrol tank, etc. Instrumentation, very basic, standard equipment. Deluxe gets 2 rear storage pockets, rubber mat flooring, single tone horn, open parcel tray and fascia, built-in heating and ventilation, 2 sun visors, a rear seat squab, rubber back mat, swivelling front quarter lights. That's what we like to see. Can we have a look at those quarter lights? Barely. The Super Imp has got an interior trim to glass level with garnish rails and 4 storage pockets, contoured rear seating, heater blower, floor carpeting, lockable cubby box, twin tone horn and wheel trim discs. Bit of an idea of some of the weights. Colour scheme, ask your dealer for choice. Choice of metallic covers offered at extra costs for the Deluxe and Super. You could have optional extras as white wall tyres, reclining front seats are available ex-factory at additional costs and can only be specified at the time of placing orders. Special accessories. A full range of attractive range of accessories is available, including a heater, Smith's Radiomobile, reversing lights, overriders, kind of like things you would expect to be on there anyway. A little idea of dimensions, and like I say, the Chrysler badge finally arriving. They were always slow, weren't they? Even when Chrysler Europe took over, they were always slow on whatever model it was to actually change even the literature or even the badging on the actual brochure. Oh, and just before, and I kind of like just wanted to put this on at the end before I put the brochure away. I just wanted to show you how it changed. So we started off with this 1963 original brand new Hillman Imp. You can see the interior kind of like with this gauge or strip type speedo, and then we ended up with this brochure, this 70s Hillman Imp brochure. You can see we've got more conventional dials and quite a few different dials on there, but I just wanted to show you that side by side how it evolved from 1963 to the 70s. So there we go, the Hillman Imp, and it's up there with certainly one of my favourite designs. I think it was a great looking small car. I don't really have any sort of memories of either sitting in one or driving one, unfortunately, but certainly as a kid in the 70s, there were quite a few of them out there. If you've got any memories of the Hillman Imp, please do jot it down in the comments. And hey, we've got sun, haven't we? Well, fancy that. Thank you so much for watching Quarter Light today. Please do like and subscribe. We'll see you very soon. Take care and goodbye.